This is the CK68. It's the newest from GamaKay, who I've covered plenty of times on this channel, and a lot of their keyboards have impressed me. They're kind of some of the best pre-built keyboards you can buy in the budget range, in my opinion. Well, the CK68 is not technically a pre-built keyboard. In fact, it's a barebones DIY kit. Much like the LK67 I covered a few months back, the CK68 is a 65% board that you'll need to put together yourself. Okay, not entirely true. It is pretty much put together. All you need to do is supply the switches and keycaps and you're good to go. This thing's gonna run you about $60 and it comes in opaque or transparent versions in black or white. I have the opaque white one here and I think it looks pretty clean. By the way, this was sent to me by Banggood. This is not a sponsored video and I'm not required to be nice about the board. I'm just here to tell you guys about it and you can buy it from my link if you want. It's got a hot swap PCB compatible with 3 and 5 pin switches. The LEDs on the PCB are north facing, which can cause some interference, especially in the middle row, an aluminum plate, and some cotton sound dampening material under the plate. It looks to me like Poron, but according to GamaKay's website, it's high density sound absorbing cotton. I don't know if Poron is made of cotton, but anyway, they say it's cotton. You've got a USB-C port on the back toward the left, 4 rubber feet, and 2 dual level pop-out feet for height adjustment. There's also a switch to toggle between wireless mode, Bluetooth, and off. GamaKay was nice enough to send me sets of each of their 3 new switches, enough to cover the entire board with whichever one I want. For this video, I want to keep a focus on the board, so if you want to know about the specs, you can pause here. What's important to know is that these are all pre-lubed box-style switches, and though they are all linear, they all manage to sound very different from each other. They are also, I think, Kale style switches, and unfortunately I don't have a Kale switch opener to take a closer look at the lube job, so we're gonna move on. For this build, I think I prefer the specs of the crystal switches, and with them being fully transparent, I think they'll do a nice job of showing off the RGB. For the keycaps today, we're going to be using these Odin Gaming Aurora Nova Keys White Cherry Profile keycaps. That's a lot of words. These are thick PBT dye sub keycaps, and while they're not perfect, they're pretty clean and will go nicely with this whiteboard. This is not the most compatible set in the world, but I'm going to make do. What's most important is that we do have a 1.75U right shift and the 1U modifiers to the right side of the spacebar. I do recommend something like any of the Polycap sets from Kinetic Labs, which range from around $60 to $80. I'm not an affiliate with Kinetic Labs, these are just my favorite keycaps right now, and you guys deserve the best. Now that the board is all put together, this looks really clean. The black on white keycaps go really nicely with the board as I had expected, and I do appreciate these slightly thicker bezels on this board. They're thicker than something like the GK61, though I do tend to prefer something a bit thicker like the bezels on my new Echo 60 from Canon Keys. It's all preference, and I still think this looks really nice. The RGB on this board is done right. The LEDs are bright enough and the white aluminum plate bounces the light enough to show it off. I'd say if you really care about RGB on a board, you're going to want to go with one of the white ones because the black ones have black plates and that will likely dampen the lighting. And now we're going to do a sound test. Okay, so unfortunately the board sounds pretty hollow. There is that layer of cotton foam between the plate and the PCB, but personally I feel like it might be more important to have something inside the actual case. I'm not going to do full sound tests for each of the switches that GamaKay sent, but just to give you an idea, here's a comparison between all 3. These are supposed to be pre-lubed, but if they are, I feel like it's maybe just very minimal or a very thin lube. While there are lots of switches out there that can sound great unlubed, these just kind of don't, in my opinion. The Bumblebee switches sound pingy, which could be fixed by lubing the springs, but if you're going to be paying for pre-lubed switches, you might not want to do that. And then we have the Phoenix switches, which, for being named after a mythical creature known for resurrection, these things sound dead. They're the quietest of the bunch, and while that can be a good thing sometimes, they just don't feel satisfying at all, which is something I really can't convey over a video. Like something is stopping them from bottoming out. Once again, GamaKay does a better job with their stock stabilizers than most companies, though I gotta admit there is some rattle to be found here. These still sound decent, but I just feel like they're missing a little bit of that polish that I feel a couple of their other boards had. Now, the board does have wireless options, both 2.4 GHz and Bluetooth, and I feel like I never really have much to say here because a lot of boards I've been covering also have these features. It's got a 3000 mAh battery, so that should last you for a while, especially if you have the lighting off. There is also software available, but for some reason I just could not get it to install on my computer, and I'm a little too pressed for time for troubleshooting, so I'm gonna have to move on. I looked into it, and it's apparently the same software that their LK67 uses, which I have shown on the channel before, and I will have that linked if you want to look at that after this video. All in all, it's not a terrible barebones kit at that price. I personally would recommend something like the LK67 over this, mainly because I prefer the look of that board and it has a knob, which is always nice, all for around the same price. But if you prefer the cleaner, simpler look of the CK68, then there really isn't much of a difference and you'll do just fine. If you guys want to check out this board, I will have a link in the description, as well as a bunch of links to a bunch of other cool stuff, so make sure you expand that description box to take a look at all the goodies. Make sure to follow me on social media, like, comment, and subscribe to this video. Well, subscribe to the channel, please and thank you. And share this video with your friends and tell them how much you liked it, or how much you didn't like it, so that they can come and judge for themselves. Point is, I want more people to watch the video, so tell them.